Good morning, guys. Okay, so today's video is brought to you by G2 Dynamics again. Check out g2dynamics.com. They got a lot of stuff. Getting more. They're actually getting some like quality stuff, you know. Like Paul had a bass knob made that's like all aluminum and everything. Really dope looking. So yeah, check out G2 Dynamics. And my boy Chevy Black, he doing some work with them G2 Genesis, so them subs ain't no slouch, and they got a sale right now. Like, everything's on sale, or at least subwoofers are on sale. But anyway, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we're really just gonna talk about fusing. And you know, there's two kinds of people. There is Team Fuse and Team No Fuse. And, well, you guessed it, because... What? I'm Team No Fuse. Or am I? Oh, look at that, buddy. We got some fuses right there. Yep, and they two more under the hood. So, yeah, that's just my alternator runs. But other than that, I'm really just Team No Fuse. But why, well, Jerry? I'm glad you asked. First off, you see how tight everything is back here. So, I mean, I really don't have enough room to put a big fuse holder and all that, because I don't really have room for shit back here as it is. But if I had room, I still probably wouldn't run fuses. Honestly, the runs are so short that it ain't gonna affect nothing. You know, you got to inspect the wire ever so often to make sure it's not rubbing on anything, because if it rubs on something, then it can short out. But wire that big, pulling that much amperage, I mean, if an amp's gonna blow, an amp's gonna blow. If you're clipping an amp hard enough, the amplifier itself can blow with or without a fuse. That's just fact. It happens all the time. So, that being said, I don't really see a big reason to have a fuse on a run of wire that short that isn't ran anywhere near metal that can ground out. Now, I mean, I see a lot of builds with fuses in them, and, you know, they get these big fancy fuse holders that look all pretty. That shit's pretty, you know? And in that situation, if it works, it looks good, you know. So if it works, it works. If it makes you feel better, run your fuses. I'm Team No Fuse. To me, in my head, and I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but in my mind and in my head, I feel like fuses are power blockers, you know. Because, you know, you got some strands of copper wire in there bigger than your finger. And in the middle of that big run of copper wire, the size of your finger, you're putting a little bitty flat piece that's really thin, and you're going to expect it to run the same amperage. It don't seem logical to me, you know? And even like when I had the Taurus MD8 case, I kind of did the math on it one day. And at like 8,000 watts, they're saying that the MD8K, like for burp or whatever, was pulling right around 800 amps. So the MD8 case only had one power input for power wire, you know. I mean, 4-aught fit in them. It did, because I had 4-aught in mine. But you can't find an A&L fuse that's like over 500, or I couldn't. So then you're breaking down and you're buying dual input connectors, and you're going to do like a 450 on each power wire. It just seems excessive. So I've always been Team No Fuse. Even on my mids and highs amps, I'm Team No Fuse. Is it bad? Yeah, probably, but I don't know. I lived a gangster life, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. Now, when it comes to like your runs of power wire through the car, do you need fuses? Yes, definitely. In the front and in the back. Definitely. And, you know, a way you can kind of figure this is take your alternator and say that, you know, you bought a 370 from Jonathan Patrick, Brand X. I can't remember what size alternator. I think I just got like a 320 for him for my Jeep, for the first alternator that I got. So we took that 320 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be safe. I got 2 runs of power wire coming from the alternator to the back. So under the hood and in the back, I have it fused at both places. I was like 320. So we're going to do 2 200 amp fuses. And of course you got to fuse for the amperage, but the main thing with those runs and them fuses, the reason you fuse at both ends of the spectrum is because the wire in between the fuses, if it rubs on something and arcs out, you'll blow the fuse. It'll save your car from burning down. Even though I don't have a battery under the hood, that's just how you do it, you know. Because you're fusing the source and you're fusing the battery in the back. So I did 2 200s, and lo and behold, man, after like a month, I was just kind of going over everything and doing an inspection, and my fuses were melted. Like, the casing itself wasn't melted. The little window you look in to see that little thin bar of metal in the middle that blows, it was all misshapen and miscolored, which actually meant that I was pulling, you know, I had 400 amp of fuse in front and back, and all 4 of them were looking like that. So that means I actually was pulling more amperage than the 400 mark, or real close to that 400 mark off of a 320. So, I mean, the alternator was putting out more than 320, I guarantee it. So I bumped them up to 300s and never had any more trouble. But, you know, fuse, if you got multiple alternators under the hood, just fuse every run of wire, you know, kind of add all your alternator amperage up, overestimate a little bit, throw the fuses in there. Or test, you know, like I said, I did 320 amp alternator in the beginning. I fused at 4 and they wasn't holding it real well. You know, they were starting to get like hot. You could tell they had been hot there. So do your math, but definitely you want to fuse those runs. And other things, you know, if you got a power wire 10 foot long, fuse that bad boy. I don't know why I'm saying that, because I know, well, my mids and highs amps, that ain't a 10 foot run. Close, but probably not. And I probably should fuse it someday on my mids and highs, but I don't. But another thing, just run your power wires away from everything metal, you know, or anything sharp metal. If it's got like spurs on it that could rip into the casing of the wire, you know, the insulation, you're definitely going to want to fuse that. But, or like where I run my wire through my floor, my firewall, you know, I went out of my way to take all of them power wires and I wrapped the shit out of them like that thick in Tesa tape. And, you know, I smoothed out my cut after I had drilled big ass holes for the wire to run through. But I went back and, you know, I insulated all that really well with sound deadener. And then I went around all the wire with Tesa tape to make sure that there's no way, just from your normal vibration, that it was going to cut through the casing, because, you know, it's got a ½ inch of Tesa tape around it. So, and if you don't know, Tesa tape is like a cloth tape. It's really good in the automotive industry because it does stick, not really well. It sticks to itself well, but it's really cloth. I mean, so I wrap everything I can in that shit because it's really good. But anyway, I hope this helped you guys out on Team Fuse or Team No Fuse. Which are you? I mean, if you're Team Fuse, throw a comment down there and tell us why you prefer to run fuses. I told you why I prefer not to. I feel like I get more power not having them, and I don't have room, and my runs are so short to my sub amps and my mids and highs amps not having them. That's just stupidity, because I probably should have them, but I don't. But anyway, yeah, drop us a comment, let us know what you prefer. All right, everybody, have a great day. Tomorrow I should be putting up sub recon video. We're going to try to do a video of taking the sub apart, what you need to clean, what you need to do. I already went out and bought me a cake decorator. That's just kind of like a lazy Susan, but get them in the bacon aisle at Walmart for like $9, man. You put the sub on there and spin, spin, spin. But anyway, tomorrow's video gonna be lit. All right, guys, have a great day. Peace out and peace out.